Crystal, thank you for coming back. We are going to dig deeper into what it looks like to host at the holidays with an inclusive mind. And so we had talked about the space itself and even some of the tech events where people want to gather socially but don't want the pressure or the limiting options of something like a bar that only has alcohol options.
Right.
So as we get ready to go into the season where we are inviting people into our homes and wanting to create a space of welcome, how can we best prepare our homes for that?
That's a great question. I think one, always having something that is an adult beverage for your guests. So that could be a really nice bottle of wine. Don't buy it at the grocery store. If it's $10 or less, it's not going to be any good. Your host or your guests are not going to like it. Like, think about it. You can buy a lot of wine online. You could find a bottle shop like us and we'll help you pick something out. But I would say having a bottle of wine is one of those no-brainers. Another idea is
and this is NA wine.
This is NA wine. Okay, oh yeah, I only talk NA. Okay, but perfect. Thank you for that.
I just want to make sure anyone listening, they know where we're starting from.
Yes, thank you. I also think that one of our best sellers when we do kind of go out into the world and bartend is a Kentucky Mule.
Oh.
So you just pick a really good bottle of alcohol-free bourbon. The Kentucky 74, the Monday, and the Free Spirits are 3 that I would recommend.
Okay.
And get a good quality ginger beer and a couple of limes, and you should be good to go. A gin and tonic is also a good way to go. So just having like some of those staple cocktails that you would have, but also having the alcohol-free version of that spirit is a great way to help people feel included.
Yeah.
A bottle of champagne, also a great way to go. A lot of the wines come in cans. And, so if you don't have a large group of people, you don't want to spend $40 on a bottle of something, of the spirits, the wine's not that expensive, then you can always get a can. There's also cocktails in a can. So if you want inspiration, you can check our website. We're happy to ship to you, but really you can buy this online in a variety of places. But I think having something for the alcohol-free person in your life, put it in a nice glass, garnish it just like you would a regular cocktail. Think about it in terms of when they arrive to when they sit down to the table, and then what are they drinking after. Could be the same drink or it could be something different. It depends on how many people you want to serve. I think those are important things. And then also letting them know before they come, they don't have to bring their own. And even asking them what they like to drink or what they might like to have. They might have a favorite. They might say, I've already got some in my fridge. I'll just be happy to bring it. But thinking about that.
I love the dialogue of initiating that beforehand, because I think, and I've noticed this with some of my other friends who are sober or living the NA lifestyle, and they're always like, well, if we're going to so-and-so's place, but we're getting lunch before, I should probably bring a cooler to make sure I have. And that is so nice to think of it ahead of time, so that way people don't feel like I have to do this big logistics plan to make sure my drinks come with me so that I have options and I don't have to make a show of like, oh, I can't have that, or that.
Right.
Because then it puts the people in an awkward situation sometimes. And as a host, if you're already thinking and planning ahead, having that dialogue ahead of time is so just lovely.
Right. I mean, it's almost like you think about your gluten-free friends or your dairy-free or lactose intolerant, vegetarians, vegans. Like, you tend to want to have something at your event or your meal that they can consume. Or they're bringing their own because they know that you're not going to have the bread or the crackers, and that's totally fine. But just kind of like add this to that list of people with dietary restrictions. And just kind of think about it, as one more way to help.
Do you have any recommendations on maybe making those offerings? Because I think often too, I always tell people like, let's meet for a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee, but that's what you say. And I've had other friends in other scenarios where people will say, oh, let's get drinks. And they're like, I always say no, because I don't want to get drinks. And I know what they mean when they say drinks. But is there a way to do it that doesn't feel, I don't know, not isolating, but it doesn't feel so forced? Like, how do you kind of open them out? Exactly. How do you kind of open that door, especially when maybe you're bringing people together who aren't as familiar with one another, and so you don't want to single them out? Like, Do you have advice?
That's a really good question.
I know I'm throwing you a curveball here.
No, I mean, if you don't want to have that conversation, just have something available and make sure it's obvious. Okay. A lot of times people who drink won't notice that it doesn't have alcohol depending on what the drink is. So one of the things that's great about a Kentucky Mule is you don't miss the alcohol component of it because it's a full flavored drink. I would just be upfront. Maybe when you send out the invitation to the 20 people or the 10 or the 5, we will have gluten-free, alcohol-free, whatever options available. And then, if there's somebody that's another potential sensitive topic is if there's somebody in recovery that is maybe recently in recovery, checking with them first to see if they would like an alcohol-free option, because maybe having that alcohol-free beer or wine or cocktail might be triggering. And maybe they're just not ready to go there yet. And if you're in AA, they don't recommend alcohol-free substitutes at all. Okay. While others are like, hey, as long as it doesn't make you drink, have as much as you want. So there's a philosophy behind that. And you just kind of need to be sensitive to where your people are. You can also, I think it's, I've been to a couple events where, that one person is always going to get hammered. Just kind of switching things out when they're not paying attention, especially like beer, you can't really tell. Or maybe like last call at a corporate event is all alcohol free. I
love that. Oh my gosh, especially before people get ready to leave. I love that.
And definitely for the corporate events, I think having alcohol free options that are adult and are not sodas and Shirley Temples and juices with soda water. Is an important part of the inclusion story and something that makes your employees feel seen and heard and valued. Also reduces your risk and your liability. I think nowadays it's really important to have those options at the table or at the bar for your employees as well.
I love that.